In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. All praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful. So, Master's Day of Judgment in which we now live, Thee alone do we serve, and Thee alone beseech for Thine help and aid. O Allah, please guide us on the right path, path of those upon whom Thou wilt bestow Thy favors, not on the path of those upon whom Thy wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray after they heard Thy teachings. Say He, Allah is one God. Allah is He of whom nothing is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He begetteth not, nor is He begotten, there is none like Him. And I bear witness that none deserve to be served, worship, or praise besides Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. And I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is Thy true servant and last apostle. Ameen. We'd like to acknowledge the brothers and sisters who extended us the greetings of Assalamu Alaikum. We have Brother Mustafa and Sister Sharice Ali from Ohio. We have Brother Minister Muhammad Salim Bey from Oakland. We have Brother Jasir Kabir from Virginia. We have Brother William Al Malik from Albany, New York. We have Brother Solomon Muhammad and his wife Sister Muhammad. We have Brother Calvin Shabazz from Atlanta, and we have the Rafiq family. I'd like to say in the name of Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, and in the name of His last and greatest messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, I'd like to greet the brothers and sisters with the Nation of Islam's greeting words of peace of Assalamu Alaikum. We want to continue with our talk on which one will survive the War of Armageddon. And today we're going to talk on the July 11, 1969 Muhammad Speaks, and it's called the 4th of July, Independence Day. And we want to, because last Monday was Martin Luther King's birthday. And we also have these Muslims who continue to want to not only change the language of the messenger, they also want to change the narrative. Because they continue to post or to share this article that came from the February 22nd, 1966 Chicago Defender that says King Muslims join forces on the war on slums. Now this was an actual article. This article came out February 22nd, 1966. So this is a real article that these archivists and all of these people are sharing. But what they not telling you is that Martin Luther King denounced this article as being a lie and being false. He said it. It comes from, I forgot to write the date of this Jet magazine. And this is what Dr. King said after the meeting he had with the messenger. Dr. King says, I am deeply concerned about the distortions surrounding my brief meeting with Elijah Muhammad. Some of the reports say that we formed an alliance to attack slum problems. This is not true. There was no attempt on my part to develop an alliance with Mr. Muhammad. Dr. King said an alliance with Muhammad was impossible because of their diametrically opposed philosophies. I have no illusion about converting the Muslims to my way of thinking. They believe that all white people are devils, and I say that that is not true. This is what he said. Yes, sir. All praises due to Allah. Now we as Muslims can come up with our own theory on what Dr. King felt when he met with the messenger. We can say we think he woke up. We can say that. We think he woke up. That's our feeling. And ain't nothing wrong with you feeling the way you want to feel. But what Dr. King said after the meeting with the messenger, he didn't change the way he thought after he met with the messenger. In fact, that's what he said. And the messenger didn't change his position on Dr. King. Because what makes these archivists lies or liars is because you don't just lie by what you say. You lie by what you don't say too. Yeah. When you know the all praise due to Allah. When you know the history. Yeah. You can present the history in a way and leave out certain things to make people think a certain way. That's right. And that's what they try to do. Because the messenger started talking about Dr. King in the 50s. Then the Muhammad Speaks newspaper came out in 1960. From 1960 to 1975, if you look at all the articles that was written about Dr. King, look at all the cartoons that was made about Dr. King, see how many times he was on the front page of the paper. If you look at what the messenger said about Dr. King and the Muhammad and the message to the black man and what he said about him in the fall of America, if you just come out and show people that one Muhammad Speaks where the messenger and Dr. King met, because the messenger said good things about Dr. King then, because he felt like maybe he coming around. So he was civilized. He didn't criticize him. He said he was happy that he came. He was happy that, you know, they finally got to meet after all those years. So he didn't say anything negative about Dr. King on that meeting. One Muhammad Speaks. Out of 15 years of Muhammad Speaks, you just show this one Muhammad Speaks where the messenger said good things about Dr. King. Because what we try to do with Islam today is not what the Muslims was doing with Islam when the messenger was alive. Because at the end of the messenger's articles, he would say, your brother, Elijah Muhammad, messenger of Allah to you all. Yes. Messenger of Allah to you all. Meaning, I'm not trying to form no buddy-buddy relationship with you. I'm coming to you, Dr. King, Stokely Carmichael, the brother on the street. I'm coming to you as the messenger of Allah. Yes. All praise is due to Allah. I'm not coming to you as nobody. I'm not coming to you as a pal. I'm coming to you as the messenger of Allah. But when we represent Islam, we come sympathetic. We don't come like this is the only choice for the black man. When you come with Islam, it's supposed to be like this. Look, brother, this ship is sinking. This the only way out. You coming with us or are you staying? The choice is yours. Because if you choose another way, I'm not following you. I'm not sympathizing with you because I like you to say, yeah, he know the way out too. If this ship is sinking and it's only one way out, I'm going the way out is. I'm not going with you some other way because I like you. That's Islam. That's how the messenger represented Islam. He didn't represent Islam like we do, with this sympathizing, with this, oh, my black brother. You know, my black brother, we just won't know. It wasn't like that. And if you look at the history of what the messenger used to say, plus look at what his minister said. We want to look at what the messenger said in this article called Black Man Disagree. Just the messenger. This is July 11th, 1969, Muhammad Speaks. The messenger said, what we disagree on, black preachers and black politicians, it is a shame and a disgrace for me to have to write it in this day of enlightenment. I cannot agree with you on what you would like that I agree with you on. And you won't agree with what I desire that we should agree with each other on. This makes we, the black nation in North America, who were divided and separated from our own black people by the white man, and after 400 years of suffering of our fathers at the hands of the same enemy that you and I are now suffering under, disagreeable with each other. I and my followers want to be separated from a people who are by nature disagreeable to live with in peace. So Allah God says, it is also written in their book, the Bible. So this is what the messenger disagreed with the preachers and the politicians about when he was alive. Separating from the white man is what they couldn't agree on. But today, Muslims can't agree with Muslims on separating with the white man. But when the messenger was alive, his followers wanted to separate from the white man. This is what the preachers and the politicians and all these people, they were disagreeing on. So the messenger goes on to say, now Allah God, who came in the person of Master Farah Muhammad, to whom praise are due forever, has said to me that they, 12 leaders of the Nation of Islam, have decided the solution to the problem facing the world. Since the white race is universally known as troublemakers, Allah God himself has exposed them as disagreeable to live with in peace. What right or excuse do you and I have in not agreeing with each other? Why should we disagree? The white people are the same people whom we both and our fathers believe before us have lived under and who have ruled us all our lives. So he wasn't bowing down to them. Like, this is what we're going to disagree on. And at the end of the article, the messenger makes it all the way plain. He says, I say, black preachers and black politicians, come let us unite together. Unite with me. I am not going to unite with Satan and his followers. So, unite with me mean under the crescent. Yeah. All praises due to Allah. Unite with me don't mean that I'm sympathizing with you. Unite with me means under the crescent, not Christianity. Now I'm going to be sympathized because one way Muslims sympathize today is you got a lot of black people out here who are black Hebrew Israelites. And they got a lot of groups. So Muslims today say we are the true Jew. That sympathize. Because the messenger taught us a message to the black man that the Jews and the Christians are of the white race. Right. Because the Holy Quran says, do not take the Jews nor the Christians for friends. So if you saying we the true Jew, is the Holy Quran saying that you shouldn't take us for friends? That's what happened when you sympathize. Right. But see, the messenger said that the Jews put their name in place of our name. But these black Hebrew Israelites don't accept that. They believe that we Israelites. So since we sympathize now, we act like, oh, we know what they mean. You know, they waking up. So we are the true Jew. No, that's sympathize. Right. Muslims didn't sympathize like that during the time of the messenger. If you took some of the messenger's teachings and used it for your thing, we ain't sympathizing with you just because you talking a little black. That way wasn't like that during the time of the messenger. So the messenger goes on to say, if you would like to unite with me and be happy, blessed and protected by Allah God, then submit to Allah God and come let us agree with each other. Thank you for reading this article. Come on and unite with me. If you want to unite with me and be happy, then submit to Allah. That was unity during the time of the messenger. Yes. And he made it plain. He didn't sympathize and act like, well, the black Christian preacher, he our black brother, so, you know, let's cut him some slack. No. Because if you go even further in the Muhammad Speaks newspaper, they used to have cartoons about the preachers. This right here is a center page. It's not the center page, but it's a whole page, both sides, dedicated to the blind fear, the black preacher, the black politician, and their followers. It says, these are the slave leaders who wish to hold their people under subjection to the slave master. Then it says, the black preacher, politician, and their followers are blind to the knowledge of self and the salvation that will come to self for the unity of self. We must expel this type of leadership out. If the so-called Negro of America is ever to become recognized and respected by his own people in Asia and Africa, it says choose Muhammad now. It says this type of leadership should be expelled. Expelled means run out. Yeah. This is what the messenger used to say about the preachers. He wasn't sympathizing with them. He wasn't sympathizing with Martin Luther King. Because we even look at more history. Martin Luther King was assassinated in April of 1968. This Muhammad Speaks newspaper came out May 10th, 1968. So the next month, this is what the messenger said about Dr. King. He said, how great was Reverend Martin Luther King? How great is his successor, Ralph Abernathy? Do you call such leaders great who lead you and your people to shame, disgrace, and death? If so, where are your brains? It's the messenger. This was a month. When Martin Luther King got assassinated, it was riots that broke out all over the country because black people was upset about the assassination of Martin Luther King. But did that stop the messenger? He said, I'm the messenger of Allah to you all. Right. If what Martin Luther King represent goes against our salvation, then I'm saying, as the messenger of Allah, what it is. I'm not sympathizing because he died. That was Islam during the time of the messenger, because we want to look at some, all praises to Allah. We want to look at some history, because you can't trust these Nation of Islam archives, straight up. They got all these papers, they got pictures, they got videos. It's good to watch. I mean, I watch them. But the narrative, they changing. They changing the language. They changing the intentions. They changing everything. They turning it into a church, the way they represent the history. So we want to look at Brother Jeremiah, Minister Jeremiah, because he was in Atlanta with these preachers. So we want to look at how and what he was saying about Martin Luther King and these preachers during the time of the message, so we can get a feel of how Islam was represented when the messenger was alive. This comes from the April 22nd, 1963 Atlanta Journal-Constitution. And let's also remember that back then, Atlanta was the headquarters for the Ku Klux Klan. Let's keep that in mind to give our historical context of Brother Jeremiah. He down there with the worst of the worst as far as white people are concerned. Because we also want to kill the idea that there was a #1 student of the message. A Muslim was a Muslim. Because Jeremiah was down there with the Ku Klux Klan. Then he had to go to Philly. So you dealing with these hardcore devils. Then you got to go to Philly and deal with these hardcore brothers. Because brothers was hardcore in Philly. Just keep it real. Look at the history of Philadelphia. That ain't no easy city to go representing reform in no Philadelphia. So he dealing with this. Then when they bombed the church in 1963 in Birmingham, Alabama, he was the Muhammad Speaks newspaper correspondent. He went there to report the news on the church bomb. When they had the March on Washington, he reported on that for the Muhammad Speaks. So it wasn't no #1 student. Everybody was working hard for the message. That's right. So this comes from the April 22nd, 1963 Atlanta Journal-Constitution. And the title is called Black Muslim Tells Their Story on WQXI. It says a black Muslim discusses black Muslims became the reality when Howland Parks of WQXI radio sent word to Jeremiah X to tell your side of it. Flanked by karate and judo bodyguards, Jeremiah X came to do that. And the resulting program has been aired twice on open line from 10 to 11 p.m. So Jeremiah came, as they say, with karate and judo bodyguards. Every time they talked about Muslims coming somewhere, they always talked about they'll fall out with it. Because Dr. King had them preachers. When he came to speak, it's like Martin Luther King came to give a speech. But when the minister of the messenger came, them devils let it be known, not only did they come, but they came ready to fight. All praise to Allah. That's what you see when you read these articles. They always talk about the judo trained and karate trained bodyguards. All the time. They ain't just say, oh, this minister just came. No. He came to fight to the radio station. So it says previous attempts to get black Muslims to speak lectures and submit to question and answer periods about their religious group have failed in and around the city. They do not seek out the company of white men. Another good part of history. It says previous attempts to get black Muslims to speak, lecture, and submit to question and answer periods. So in Atlanta, this wasn't where Malcolm was at. Malcolm wasn't in Atlanta. The other national representative wasn't in Atlanta. Jeremiah was in Atlanta. But they still seeking him out to give question and answer periods, give lectures. It wasn't because I'm the national representative. It ain't because I'm the #1 student. All ministers for the messenger was sought out in their city. All praise due to Allah. You got to stay true to the facts. Right. People wanted to know about the messenger's program. Yes. They didn't want to hear from you. Right now, it ain't about who's saying it. It's about the program. That's right. It don't make a difference who's saying it. That's right. It's about the program. Yes. And that's the history. So then they go on with Brother Jeremiah. He says in his talk He says, we don't want integration. We want separation. A land of our own, said Jeremiah. We have little use for Negro clergy and for integration leaders. Martin Luther King receives our sympathy, but not our support. All praise is due to Allah. That was the position of Muslims on Dr. King. He get our sympathy because he black. We don't want to see our brother getting kicked around in the street by the devil. So we get our sympathy. We hate to see that. But we ain't supporting. We ain't with all that integration. That's him. If he want to continue to let these devils beat on him, that's him. We not supporting him. We ain't sympathizing with him. We ain't acting like he ain't an ice maker. None of that. He the worst enemy. The messenger said the black preacher is the worst enemy to the salvation of his people. And that's what Muslims represent. They didn't tiptoe through the tools and act like this my buddy. No, he an enemy. So we can go further with Brother Jeremiah. We can go to, this is the May 30th, 1963 Jet Magazine. This says, Muslims, we want store, not just a hot dog. This says, Atlanta outspoken Muslim minister Jeremiah X, spelling out his followers' reaction to the Birmingham desegregation drive, graphically illustrates why fearful white leaders had rather deal with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. any day to avoid meeting Muhammad's disciples head on, said Jeremiah X in Birmingham. It doesn't amount to anything to be able to sit down at a lunch counter and be able to eat a hot dog with the white man. What we Muslims want is the lunch counter, the store the lunch counter is on, and the land the store is on. All praise is due to Allah. This Islam during the time of man. He wants sympathizers like, oh, my black brother, you know, we feeling. No, we ain't with that. He with integration. We ain't with it. Because they didn't just criticize the leader. They criticized your whole program, philosophy, doctrine, all that, religion, everything. They wasn't just like with this old my black brother stuff we be talking. They wasn't with that. Yeah, you are a black brother, but what you representing ain't the salvation for the black man. All that black brother stuff that had Muslims today want to participate in the world of Christianity. That's what it is. All this sympathizing on me, you really just want or feeling this brother's program. You just want to be participating in all this Christianity too. You don't want to wear your headpiece. You want to wear a beard. You want to be sagging. You want to have more than one wife. So you sympathize. All praise due to Allah. So you sympathize with all those people who do that, acting like, oh, this my black brother. No, you wasn't doing that when the messenger was alive. So we can go even further to another Jet magazine. This one is the September 12, 1963 Jet magazine. And this was during the March on Washington, because Brother Jeremiah was the Muhammad Speaks correspondent. It says, nobody really expected trouble from the highly disciplined Muslim unit in Washington, and sect members stayed away. Only Atlanta's Jeremiah X quietly roamed the crowds, interviewing and preparing copy just like any other newsman for the Muslim weekly tabloid newspaper. So the brothers who came with Jeremiah didn't even go into the march. That's how Muslims was opposed to all of that. They wasn't participating. So the brothers who came with Brother Jeremiah stayed away. So Jeremiah went in there. He wasn't clapping like, oh, you know. He wasn't participating. He was quietly like any other newsman. That was Muslims. They wasn't participating in it no kind of way. And everybody noticed how they wasn't participating. Everybody knows, because when you see him, Mahalia Jackson and all of these preachers and all that stuff in there crying and talking all like they love the devil, and you see this group of black people in there not even care nothing about this stuff. That was Islam during the time of the Messenger. Let's go even further than that. You got the April 19, 1963 Jet magazine. And this is called Black Unity Forum Split Over Audience Integration. So the purpose of this meeting was for black unity. It says a forum in Atlanta on black unity began with harsh words between the city's Muslim minister, Jeremiah X, sponsor of the meeting. So this was Jeremiah's meeting. And it says, and Reverend Wayne T. Walker, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s top aide. When Walker protested the Muslim ban on whites' attendance at the forum, it says Walker withdrew on the principle that I can't participate in anything segregated. And Jeremiah later called the militant Reverend Walker. Now, to the Christian world, this cat, Reverend Walker, was militant. This dude who was the top aide for Martin Luther King, they thought he was militant. But Jeremiah called him a tool for the white man. Several Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee members were turned away from the forum because SNCC groups were integrated. Now this is Islam during the time of the Messenger. Because if you look at SNCC, they later became militant because Stokely Carmichael was the chairman of SNCC. But in '63, they were still integrating with the white man. They came to the Muslims to get so militant. And this is the history. So Jeremiah wouldn't let them black people come into his meeting. Now this is a meeting on unity. We talk all this unity talk. But certain black groups, Jeremiah wouldn't let them in. Islam during the time of the Messenger, it wasn't all this whole my black brother stuff we be talking. So let's go even further than that. Let's go to, this is the December 13th, 1966 Daily Home News. And the title is called Black Muslim Leader Paint White Man Devil Red. And what you would notice too about Islam during the time of the Messenger, Muslims very rarely spoke anywhere without saying the white man was the devil. Very rarely. Very rarely. Only time they might not speak on that is if people asking them questions. But when they giving a lecture, oh, they talking about how the white man's the devil. Well, no, this, oh, we ain't supposed to call the white man the devil in public. That's this new school stuff. Because if he from Atlanta, the headquarters of the Ku Klux Klan, where they lynching and burning churches and all that, and the Messenger letting him call the white man the devil in public. Why we can't call the white man the devil with this Negro-friendly stuff we got? The white man let a homosexual get up and talk. The white man will put a transgender person on the cover of a magazine and say Woman of the Year. We talking about we can't call the white man the devil in public. All praise due to Allah. This new school stuff, man. It's this new school stuff. But in the article, Jeremiah said the white man is the devil and the creator of all the Negroes' problems. But all of this is coming to an end, Jeremiah Shabazz, a black Muslim minister, predicted. Now, he was at Rutgers College, and they say 300 people was there. It goes on to say, Shabazz, who considered himself a teacher rather than a preacher of the Islamic religion. He didn't even want to get confused with them preachers. I'm not no preacher. I'm a teacher of the Islamic religion. This how hard they used to go against them preachers. Oh no, I'm not no preacher. I'm a teacher of the Islam. All praise due to Allah. They wasn't trying to get, now I heard they said one of these ministers today, they call him a frustrated black minister, a frustrated black pastor, a black reverend or something, the way he preached. Because he talk about Jesus so much, they just say he a frustrated black minister preacher, something like that. It's like how they comparing you to a preacher today. But they wouldn't do that. The Muslims wouldn't let you do that during the time of the Messenger. Then it says the movement in, this is what Jeremiah says, the movement in the United States for racial equality is too slow, too little, and too late, he stated. Adding that Negro leaders like Martin Luther King and Roy Wilkins are doing more harm than good for the Negro. Now we see Roy Wilkins. Later Roy Wilkins changed and started talking about how the black man can learn from the Muslims. But he didn't change because Muslims was like, oh, my black brother. Right. He changed because Muslims was criticizing him. That's the difference between Islam during the time of Messenger and Islam not. We don't criticize these philosophies. We don't criticize nothing. We act like what they doing is cool. They black too. But Muslims, the way people used to think about the moves they made, because Muslims criticized them so hard. If Muslims wasn't criticizing them, they would have never changed. Right. Them Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee members wouldn't have been more militant if Jeremiah would have just let them come to the meeting. Right. They started thinking about what they saying because they was impressed with Jeremiah. They saw how militant Jeremiah was. They saw how Jeremiah was being able to go to Klan meetings when the preacher getting his church bombed. Right. So they looked up to Jeremiah. So when they saw that Jeremiah won't let us come to their meeting because we integrated, like, well, maybe we should stop letting the white man come to our meeting. Because they want to be militant like Jeremiah. All praise due to Allah. And that's the difference between Islam now. Black people saw the difference. When Jeremiah rolling up, they see Jeremiah with them karate judo trained brothers, ready to fight at the Klan meeting. He ain't coming there like, oh, well, you know. No. Judo trained bodyguard. Every time they talked about Brother Jeremiah or any Muslim, judo trained bodyguards. And our last example, we want to talk about black Muslims in America. Because this book is good history to have and good history to know, especially the background of this book. Because we want to read what C. Eric Lincoln said on what influenced him to even make this book. It says, in the autumn of 1956, I was teaching courses in religion and philosophy at Clark College in Atlanta, Georgia. This study of the black Muslims began when I read the following appraisal of Christianity in a term paper submitted to me by a senior student. So a Muslim was in his class. He wasn't no minister. He wasn't a national representative. He was just a brother going to school. So he wrote his term paper. And C. Eric Lincoln said, the inquiry revealed that the writer, a sensitive and gifted young man, had come under the influence of the local Muslim minister and had a few other students at the college. The local minister was Brother Jeremiah. It wasn't because he said he heard Malcolm X. It wasn't because he said he heard the #1 student. He said a regular brother who wrote a term paper against Christianity, talking about the teachings of the message. And what I like about Jeremiah, Brother C. Eric Lincoln, he could have been talking that Malcolm X talk. Like when I heard Malcolm X, that's what made me want to do this book. He was like, no, in 1956, I had one of these Muslims in my class, and he was influenced by his local minister. All praise due to Allah. So this showing us, brothers and sisters, that the narrative that these Nation of Islam archivists is trying to do, they trying to use the history to support their ideas. That's what they're doing. They're not giving you the history. Because if you know the history, and you know for a fact that the messenger and Martin Luther King never worked together, but you show this article, dang, where I do it? Well, anyway, you show an article that you know is a lie. You show that article making people believe that this article is true when you know it's a lie. You know the history. So you know this is a lie. You know the messenger and Dr. King didn't unite. You know there wasn't no #1 student. You know all this. You know the messenger wasn't the savior. You know all that. But you use the history to try to justify what you're saying by giving a little bit and holding back a little bit. And that's how they lie. You can go on these Nation of Islam archive. They got a lot of good stuff, but you can't trust them. Well, brothers and sisters, we don't want to prolong the time, but we want to bring up our minister, Brother Minister Levi Karim, as I leave you with the greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum.
Minister Khalil, Shabazz, another round of applause. Good, good, good. All praise is due to Allah. It's good to have believers beside yourself. One who can teach and bring to our people the knowledge and understanding of what they need. And it's an honor and a privilege to be a follower of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and to strive hard in our lives away. All of us as ministers. And it's for those who have it in heart. And this is what Allah blesses us with. So I like to say, in the name of Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, true and living God, forever thank him for right up in our midst a divine leader, teacher, and guide. in the person of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. May the peace and blessings of Almighty God, Allah, will be upon him. I'm truly grateful for this honor, and I'm grateful that Allah saw fit to open up my heart and our hearts to accept the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So I greet the brothers and sisters with the nation greetings of peace. Assalamu alaikum once again. You know, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that we must consider the time and don't be caught napping, because this is the fall of America. This is the judgment that we're living in. The time. Confusion of the people. This is a confused world. And the white man is behind it. The devil. He confused us, our people, so long and misled them so long. The messenger said Allah now and reversed it and put it on him and caused him to be confused. Praise be to Allah. The more he confuses him, the less time he have to confuse and mess with us. Praise be to Allah. See, he's still in a mess. He's in a bind. So he don't have time for you and I. He got to straighten his situation out. Because we know that the messenger said Allah, Master Prophet Muhammad, the Son of Man, is the one that causing untold confusion between the heads and states. Untold confusion of the heads and states. Master Prophet Muhammad is causing this. They cannot agree with one another. They're confused. Politicians against politicians. The House, Congress, they're so confused they can't even come together. We can see that now. And during this shutdown, they couldn't get together. So now they reopened the government for 3 weeks, still to try to come up with a solution. But the messenger said the solution to the problem is divine. So you know that's that, you know. So we don't have to worry about that. See, they're disagreeable. They're disagreement, dissatisfaction, 100% dissatisfaction. That's what's happening today. Worker against worker, like I said, politician against politician, no agreement. 800,000 federal workers work without no pay. Now that goes to show you and I, that should show you and I something. They can shut the whole thing down. They can just push us all to the side and ain't nothing we can do about it. If they say don't send another check, ain't nothing we can do about it. If they kick us over there to the side, he called a national emergency, ain't nothing we can do about it. We at his mercy. But see, one thing he forgot. The messenger said, like Malcolm forgot about Master Farad Muhammad. He's the one that's going to save you and I. He's the only one that can save you and I. We can't. Who can make war with the beast? It takes Allah to get this devil. Pray do this. It's going to take Allah to get him. We can't touch him. See? So we at his mercy. So this is a confused world. And we see that Congress, like I said, is divided and confused. They're in total confusion. They can't come up with nothing. No inspectors. All this is a learning and a warning to you and I. What the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad has said. America is a house doomed to fall. This is what's going on. See? So we got to consider the time and the things that's happening around you and I. It's what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us. Listen. No inspection. What about this? Get to the food inspection. He done closed the whole thing down. People can't come in this country now and go out safely because you don't have nothing, no kind of protection. People to warn you, to no air traffic controller, none of these different kind of things. No food inspection, no all this stuff that comes in the mail. The government is on top of this thing here. It comes through the government. Because if the government don't have food inspectors, food don't get inspected. So what you have now, all this comes into play. The messenger teachers comes into play. We have how to eat to live. Food comes in here. All this bad food that done got through here. What do you think they're going to do with it? What do you think they're going to do with it? They're not going to throw it away.
That's right.
They're not going to throw it away. It's coming into the community of the black man. That's where it's coming in. If it don't be here, it's going to be somewhere else. Black people. So the messenger, this is where how to eat to live comes in. All these things comes in for you and I. So we know how to eat and live. So if they can cut that off. All these different kind of things, they can cut it off and we be a prey to them. And so we suffer if we don't care to teach the most honorable Elijah Muhammad in the practice. All his teachers, not just a little bit of it we think is the more important than the other. All of it's important. And we must abide by it to be successful. Because we're living in a confused world. And these people, they do anything out of the ordinary. Anything. And it's all designed to get the black man and the black woman. So we're very fortunate to understand, like I said, we have to consider the time and know that this is a confused world, and Allah is confusing the white man. He's confusing them. And in turn, our black people in Congress, politicians, they think they have a solution to the problem of working with the white man. But they also are confused.
That's right.
See, they confused. They let them put our black brothers and sisters up there just for show.
That's right.
But they don't have no say-so. It's all the white man. So we have to understand that. We're very fortunate, brothers and sisters, to be followers of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. But we have to consider the time. And don't get caught napping. Fiddling and dancing. That's what this nap, what the messenger was saying, fiddling and dancing. Like we have 1,000 years ago. We have to look around our surroundings. And remember that this is the fall of America. We have to look around and see what's taking place in America and all over the world. What's taking place. These calamities and things, what's happening. We have to stay focused on that. They just had a dam collapse in Brazil. The whole dam collapsed. And they flooded the whole community, the whole thing with mud. I'm not talking about water, mud that's coming through. Mud. Somebody behind that.
That's right.
It's not just happening.
That's right.
The message said Allah will use the forces of nature.
Yes.
Rain, hail, snow, earthquakes, all these things. This is what's taking place today. But when all this commotion, he throw a smoke screen up, throw all this commotion, confuse all the people to keep their minds off what's happening.
Yes.
See, they keep their mind off what's happening. They think they can't eat. They can't live if they don't eat 3 meals a day. They can't live without him. But all this calamities and things going around, he put this smoke screen up here and get our minds off what's happening. They having floods, rain, they having earthquakes and all these things right today. We ain't paying no mind to it because he done got our mind off that. See? See, people worried about, they're crying, they're worried about a paycheck.
Yes.
They're worried about their welfare check.
That's right.
He gonna cut it off.
That's right.
The messenger said that the devil's gonna cut it off. Trump even said it. He said he been trying, he got it in motion to stop you from getting checks. Get you to get that surplus food.
That's right.
And he said if you don't, some people gonna be thankful for it. If not, well, they should be, in other words. That's all you get.
That's right.
That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying. We ain't getting no more of that. You done confused everybody, scared to death. Because we depend on the devil for clothes, everything we depend on the devil for.
Yes.
That's why the message say, get your own.
Yes.
Do for self.
Yes.
Help self before you help others. But our people are so confused, they ain't thinking about nothing. They just this paycheck and what the welfare they gonna get instead of doing something for themselves. We have to do something for ourselves. This comes with all this confusion. Disagreement. He disagreeable to live with in peace. We see this. And even ourselves sometimes, if we're not careful, we'll get caught up. Because we'll get our mind off what we should be doing, what we should be focusing on. We have to really consider the time on what's happening here. Things is bad. All over. People are starving. People are angry. Dissatisfied. So when you be dissatisfied, when people's not eating, You can't provide for your family. They working from paycheck to paycheck and have to stand in the food line and work for nothing. That just goes to show you and I. They screaming because they have to work for nothing. But see, look what happened. What about the black man, our forefathers, who they brought over here, who worked for nothing?
Right.
For 400 years, they worked for nothing. You understand what I'm saying? So they see the difference. They feeling what we felt.
Right.
See? And their own brother, own brother, not up to somebody else, their own brother, it's got them working for nothing.
Right.
It's not the black man, it's his own, their own brother.
That's right.
See? And they screaming. Our people work from can't see to can't see. Didn't get not one penny. And when they said, when they freed them, they supposed they got 40 acres and a mule. That's what they said was in the deal. They ain't get no 40 acres. They get no mule. They have nowhere to go. Okay, you can go, I'll free you. He's slick. Okay, you free, go ahead. Where I'm going? What my 40 acres, what my mule? So he had to go back to the devil. He had nowhere to go. See? So these kind of things. So when the messenger come on the scene and say, do for self, get some land, they don't want that. They already own some land. They already got something from the white man. The white man have made them lazy to do for self. So these are kind of things, what's happening today with you and I. The devil, you reap what you sow. It's coming back to him. See? Praise be to Allah. It's coming back to him. And his own people, they began to see how the black man felt. When they worked me. You go to work, you working me for nothing. So what do you think? You think they're going to let their family starve? No. Any civilized man won't let his family starve. He going to do something if he have to take it. If he have to take it for his family and himself to survive, and you sitting up there eating porterhouse steaks, tea cakes, and butter rolls, and my family starving, no. It's going to be like that. No, you in Mar-a-Lago, whoever you is, eating all that good food and stuff, you hear my family starving, ain't got a bean. You no, you're going to have to do something better than that. So if you can't do that, I'm going over here and try to get me something. That's what, so lock me up. Yeah, I'm going to get something. I'm not going to starve and you sitting over there just smiling, eating good, and your family sitting around eating, and we starving. People ain't going for that. No, they'll take it. And get whatever they can do to provide for their families. See, this whole big earth, the message is enough for everybody. See, for everybody. So we want to understand the confusion and where the confusion is coming from. The Son of Man, Master Farad Muhammad, is the cause of this. And the devil cannot be helped. Can't nobody help him. When Allah in charge, nobody can help you. See, if he with you, nobody can be against you. If he for you. See, these are the kind of things, brothers and sisters, what's happening. This is the fall of America. This is the days of the fall of America. See, because even with this food, he controls it. The government is on top of it. And he issues it out, distributes it out to where he wanted to go. So if he say, the black man, we rope him off, put him over there. We give him the bad food. That's what they do. They give us the secondary stuff and anything, the education on down. We don't get a full good education. That's why the messenger say, educate yourself. He said, teach your own. It's a lot in it. We can see this here. The devil don't give us quality education. He's not going to give us quality education because he give us the quality education and the same education that he give his own, we be equal to him. So he going to give us less education, treat us and suppress it so that we still don't have enough really to go for ourselves. See? We have to have education. We have to be educated. We educated, the messenger taught us to go for ourselves. Teach your own children. Teach them. And when they get to a certain age, they can advance it. See? So that's what any civilized person in a government, when they come to America, get all the education that they can get. And then they take it back. They take it back to their country and re-educate them people. That's what they're supposed to do. The messenger set up universities of Islam. It's very important. It's very important. We have to be educated. Any civilized nation has to be educated. We have to have knowledge. We have to know the art, science, all these different kind of things. To go. We just can't just go. We got to learn how to go into the earth. Dig, plant, engineers, all these things, teachers, all this. It's very important. It's very important it is. So because we are a nation. We're a government. We're not a set club, we're a government. And we have to think on them terms. Yes. We have to think that we are government. This is our flag. We got our own flag. Yes. Just like any other government. We have our own flag, any nation. So we have to teach our own and understand that it's serious. Yes. The University of Islam is serious. Yes, it is. It wouldn't have been set up if it wasn't. The message say teaching from the cradle. But see, we've been in the hands of an enemy and he has confused you and I. See? We shouldn't be confused because we have the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And we know where the confusion is coming from and we know why it is coming from. It's the chastisement that Allah is going to put on the devil. And that's what he's doing. He's going to destroy the devil. They're going to lose their power. See, but we're living right in the midst of it. All the stuff that's going on, we're in the midst of this here. And Allah is blessing us and strengthening us to come through this thing. But we have to do our part. Yes. We get a University of Islam, we teach them. We have to teach our children. Yes. See? Because it's very important. But most of the time, we don't see that. We don't, where's the University of Islams? These kind of things. Where's the unity? We have to have unity to go and to do for self. We have to have unity with one another. And we can see the turmoil in this government. What's going on? The confusion in this government. This is the white order. America is white order. And we can see in this confused government what's happening. See? It's a lesson and a learning for you and I. We can see what not to do. What to do. We can see what they did and the fault that they had or what the condition that they in because they went this way. We can see what we have to do. There are certain things that we can straighten ourselves. In the next message say, he said, watch the devil. Especially, he said, when we were working, how do you keep a job? He said, you watch that foreman. Watch him. You learn from that foreman. He's on time. He takes his job seriously. And he's there. See? He don't make an excuse. He on time. He get his job, he get there, he got to set his job up. He know what he got to do. And he on his way. So you learn from that. So that's what we have to be punctual. We have to want to do. We have to have the desire to do. And we know why we doing it. See, when we get our lost found black brothers and sisters, we know we give them this teaching. We know what it's going to do for them if he or she accepts it. We know it's going to benefit them. We know it's going to save them. Just why we know it? Because it saved us. We know if he do and if she do and apply herself, himself, like the most honorable Elijah Muhammad had taught us, we know we're going to be successful. It's no doubt. It's success. Islam is peace. It's success. All this is what Allah has promised you and I. But there's a catch. You have to work. That's right. To work for it. You know, just jump out the sky. We have to work for it. And it's confused when all this confusion. I learned a lot in this confusion. That the devil, he can stop it. The messenger, he can stop it. Anytime he get ready, he can stop it. He can put a clamp on you and I. If it was not for Allah, who came in the person of Master Prophet Muhammad, he would put a clamp on you and I. This is what's happening when they say the message say nation against nation. Confused nations. You can see it today. They're at each other's throat. Venezuela, just the other day. They're at each other's throat. Used to be one of the richest little countries. Now it's the poorest. See? Why? You have, when the message say evil spreading far and wide. When you look at the heads of state, the message say corruption is spreading far and wide. Evil. Look what they're doing. They stealing money, taking bribes, All these things, the messenger said this, where corruption started from, where it came from. It started in Europe. Corruption. So when you be corrupted, that means that you're stealing, you're taking bribes, you're not doing, you're stealing everything you get your hand on. Look at our leaders. It starts at the top. You kill a head, the body dies. And this is what's happening. This is what's happening. The head is dying. It's dying a quick death. See? Look at the president. The message said that, you know, back in the day, prophet day, they didn't have no thing as presidents. They had kings and rulers of the people, you know. They have no chosen thing president like that. But this president, look at what's happening. When you surround yourself with crooks, thieves, robbers, what happens to your nation? What happens to the government? It goes down. Why? Because the people now, the people don't trust them. The people are angry. It's 100% dissatisfaction. They can't feed their families. They're working without pay. All these things. No food. This one man I saw, he had no food. He had his paycheck, he had no food. He don't understand, he just confused. He all messed up, he don't understand this government, this land is supposed to be a planet. Why has it happened to me? And this is my brother. My brother up there doing this to me. All these things, what's taking place here. We have to understand what's going on here. See, because we next. He put the clamp down on us, we next. He just showing, and he said himself, that if he don't get what he want, he gonna shut it down again. They got 3 weeks. 3 weeks to come up with an agreement, with a plan, which they had no agreement. They didn't come up with nothing. And they still don't have nothing. You think they're gonna have something in 3 weeks? No, it's gonna get worse. The message said the worst is yet to come. It's gonna get worse. You think you ain't getting the paycheck now, you ain't gonna get nothing. He said if he don't get what he want, he gonna shut it down. Again, that shows you the power that the president has. See? But who gonna suffer? The black man. He gonna suffer because when he can shut it off, in my conclusion, when he can shut it off in one area, he can shut it off in certain areas where he please. He said, if I don't want something to go in here, if I don't want no food or clothing or whatever to go in here, I don't want no medicine. This woman said, he's heartless when the messenger say, they don't have no heart. See, this woman has got her cancer treatment. For her medicine she has to have. She can't get it because he shut it down. And she through the government, well, she had to get it and her subsidized through the government, so she can't get it. So she have cancer, you just dead then. All he think, so the white man don't think about, he don't care nothing about you and I. We have to understand that. He's a real devil, he's an open enemy. And his thing is gonna get worse. So we have to tighten our belt. You might have to eat 1 meal every 3 days. You might have to eat 1 meal a week. It might boil down to that. And the way things is, and this running by the government, food and all that's got to come in here, and it comes through the government. It comes through the government. All the stuff comes through the government. Homeland Security. That's where it comes through. Food, they expected all this come through. And if we have to take the teachings at heart, because you might have to eat 1 meal a day or 1 meal every month. And we can do that. We can eat 1 meal every 40 days. Praise be to Allah. It's been proven because Jesus and Moses did it. And we can do it. The message said we should fast at least 3 days out of the month. So that's letting you know when we fast 3 days out of the month, he's saying that, but we can get used to it.
That's right.
He said 3 days every month. We should get used to it. He said, don't fast just for 3 days. You can fast 4 days, 9 days, 21 days. Do it. He's telling you and I, we might have to do that. We might have to do that. We might have to fast for 21 days. Might have to, the way things is going, brothers and sisters. This ain't yet, the worst is yet to come. So I thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Praise be to Allah. Oh, I got to go ahead, I give it to you. Hey, Brother Minister.
Sisters, we rise for prayer. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful. So, Master's Day of Judgment in which we now live, the alone do we serve, and the alone beseech for thine help and aid. O Allah, please guide us on the right path of those upon whom thou hast bestowed thy favors, not on the path of those upon whom thy wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray have they heard thy teachings. Say he, Allah is one God. Allah is he of whom nothing is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He begetteth not, nor is he begotten, there is none like him. And I bear witness that none deserve to be served, worship, or praise besides Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. And I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is that true servant and last apostle. Ameen. Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us not to do anything to anyone. We wouldn't have done it to ourselves and treat everybody right, even the devil. Assalamu alaikum.